The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in the lovely Twin Island state of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do. Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
And secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us. And we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, the Tainos and the Calanegos. Because, well, we all know, we accept, we reiterate that not only that Columbus lied, but also to the people that is distribute land globally that they lied to. But also to our brother in our brother in music, Tony P, where the P this week stands for
precarious.
That's right, because if you are living under a rock, the reason why I threw that extra bit in there now,
right,
is because all the time we just look and we see on the news, the global news, the Al Jazeeras and the CNNs and these different things, or in the international news segment, if you're watching the local news about the possibility of international action being taking place across the world. But if you don't know now, there is currently a dispute that is taking place between neighboring countries Venezuela and our CARICOM counterpart Guyana over the Essequibo. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Hard Q, so it's Essequibo.
Sorry, over the Essequibo region. Right? We don't have all the details, but we know that there's a dispute brewing.
Well, that would be a really good opportunity, for me to remind you that we haven't introduced ourselves. So,
sorry.
First and foremost,
but sometimes, you know, when it gets hot in a conversation, it is just jump in and get and then like half hour later, hey, I am DJ Aaron 868, and I remind you each and every week that culture is my code, alongside my bro with no fro but a lot of flow,
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the increasingly global stage.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So let me just give the cliff notes, right? 1899. Right, there was some international arbitration as to how to allocate the lands between Venezuela and Guyana.
Right.
Prior to international involvement, the land in question had been considered Venezuelan. Right. However, based upon colonization, this tree that continues to bear its bitter fruit, when the British were in charge of Guyana, they reallocated themselves a portion of Venezuelan land. Now, this is just based on what
the information that is being presented to us.
Right? This is not an indication of my preference or my position. Right? I'm just saying that the land was in dispute. There was international arbitration. There was also some contention as to the legitimacy of the arbitration based on the parties that decided such. And Venezuela has long been contesting that it was an invalid distribution or reattribution of land. Right. So they had been at several times suggesting that it was only a matter of time before they relayed claims to said land. Right? They actually have matters in front of international court, and even like several years ago, there has been information going back a while as to how delicate a situation it has been.
Right.
So it's not a new conflict. It's not like they just Venezuela just jump out themselves while now for now. It has been something that has been brewing for a long time. It is also the type of thing that the late Dr. Eric Williams mentioned, and it has been referred to as the colonial interests of Venezuela to claim lands beyond the borders, beyond the recognized borders. So it's not a new thing. It is not a new thing, right? Yeah.
Could I just chuck something in here?
I hope so. You bring it up.
Well, let's try sometimes. Honestly, at the fact that you mentioned Dr. Eric Williams in the equation there, that's something that I think I somewhat remember in when I read Colonization and Slavery, which was written by the late great Dr. Eric Williams, right? So as you said, and rightfully said so, this is not something that's new. And for those of you on social media who, Guyana find oil and all of a sudden get Venezuela wanted, no, this is nothing to do with that either.
Yeah, Venezuela has been alluding to their intentions to reclaim that particular region.
The Essequibo, thank you very much for correcting my pronunciation.
Yeah, well, yeah, remember, I just put the emphasis on the right syllables, you know.
Damien would be not pleased.
Speaking of not pleased, apparently our episode aired last week stirred quite some riveting dialogue in the chat box.
Really?
Right? Yeah, there were comments as to why we didn't organize somebody from the other side immediately to interview them as well. And I would like to thank our listeners who, with some sense, identified the fact that negotiating people of a particular level to have a conversation does take time. It is not to say that in the living room we're not going to do our very best to get some representation of other positions, right? But it is a very hot button topic, and two, it only makes sense that if you have an ambassador to an entire region, that you can't just pick Johnny from down the road to
the Johnny from inside the party,
right? Well, I wouldn't even, if you get Johnny from inside the party, that is one thing, but I talking about just, you can't bring an arbitrary speaker to counterpoint.
You can't bring a social media enthusiast,
right? In terms of when we have in general conversations, yes, but if we bring in somebody to counterpoint, it has to be on par, right? Or at least comparable.
And not just that, I would also try to remind persons that, remember, the show is only an hour. Conversations like that and discourse over topics like that are not something that can just take place within that 1 hour time frame that we try to fit everything within. So we try our best, regardless of the topic or the severity of the topic, to give each person a designated time frame. If the time allows that at some future time you can get a debate with two persons who are equally involved and educated on the topic, that could happen. But yeah,
you can't bring a man who's literally a state representative of the highest order, and the person you bring to discuss or debate or counterpoint is, well, a man who know about and does lime with. No, you have to bring somebody of a particular professional position.
Capacity.
Yeah.
That's why debates generally happen between persons who are equally yoked at the topic. Yeah, equally yoked at the topic. Come on. I always wanted to use the word yoked, actually.
Equally yoked. Yeah, I'm watching, but I gotta leave your business out of the conversation for the meanwhile. But I do appreciate. You looking? Is yoke looking to yoke? You say?
Egg yolk.
Oh, egg yolk. Well played. Yeah, you're light on your feet this evening. But yeah, I do appreciate the dialogue in the box, because I love the fact that WAC listeners can hold us accountable and comfortable enough with just the caliber of the program to demand a certain level of journalistic or even commentary
Yeah.
integrity.
Right. And you want to tell them, or I should tell them now?
No, it's all on you, bro.
Since, we're talking about, our love and appreciation for the WAC listeners. For you all had that happen assiduously and religiously listening to us every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. in the living room, you all would know that since COVID, we have shifted to online basis of show, right? Meaning that Ricardo and I have not seen the studios of 129 CWAC on a Tuesday evening for almost, I think it's more than 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. So as an end of year treat for you, the listeners of WAC 90.1 FM, next week, Tuesday, at 6 p.m. Tuesday. Wow.
Tuesday.
As enthused.
That's what's going on.
I was enthused to drop the news.
Well done.
All right. Next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. for the living room, Ricardo and I will be in studio and we will be hosting an interactive show with you, the listeners, to end off the year.
Yeah.
Because we have no intentions to come there on Boxing Night.
Well, you supposed to hear it if you say so.
I put it out there one time. Boxing Night, I would like to be at home, sitting on my couch with a glass of punch a creme.
Punch a creme.
Yes.
Punch a creme.
Enjoying a lovely movie. Or in the company of my family.
Nice, man. Nice. I mean, yeah, the WAC is family too, but all get us every other Tuesday for the year. We should delegate one to the king.
Let me sit in my living room with my next of kin.
Yeah. I wonder if any of our segment contributors would be available to show face by, how long we supposed to parang with them?
Yeah, but they had to bring the snacks though.
Yeah, because we can't count on you for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll bring sorrel.
Speaking of maroon things that never disappoint, what do you think of West Indies taking the first at-home series? Well, yeah, the first at-home one-day series in 15 years?
And also the first at-home series victory against England in 25 years?
That's what it is? Yeah.
I thought as a fan you would have known that.
Yeah, but as a friend, I left room for you to involve yourself in the conversation.
Right. I am actually very proud. And what made me even more proud, Ricardo, is that we did it without the big ticket names.
I was celebrating that point with Lando, my brother, while the match was going on. I say, listen, it's almost as if they gave the dream team the leeway to drop the ball with the World Cup qualifications, and now they were like, well, right, now we're going to try something else.
We're going to try to pick on talent as opposed to name.
They're not saying that the dream team isn't talented, right? What we're saying is that they've given the youth an opportunity to develop. Because normally we have this kind of one flop and drop mentality, where from the time these youngsters do show up, well, on to the next or back to the old, right? And this time we actually saw that they let some of the young men get a run of form. I don't think Kati had like a stellar performance per se.
In the first two games, no, he didn't, and he showed up in the third game when it mattered.
Right. As opposed to dropping him for somebody else, that type of thing. Yeah, it was good to see.
This I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but the gentleman that opens the innings, Alec Athanase, I hope I pronounced that correctly.
I would have gone Athanase, but then again, my emphasis on syllable.
Yeah, Damien, please help us.
Harder.
No, but really and truly, Mr. Athanase, Captain Hope, because he has been wearing that cape for some time, and he has been one of the most consistent batsmen, not just for West Indies, but across the globe in the ODI format for at least the past 2 to 3 years.
You know who I kind of want to see lean a little bit into his talent? Brendan Kingsley.
Yeah. He's a very talented player, as he has proven in the most recent edition of the CPL and the Super 50 tournament.
Yeah, we know he has it. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just like a concentration lapse or
a confidence.
Confidence is everything.
Yeah. Not just him. Sherman Hetmeyer as well. We know he's one of the more talented players from the region, but for some reason, his inning structure reminds me of one which we used to play in street ball cricket, 6 and out.
There was definitely in the second ODI in particular, there were moments where they took the beat bad bowling bait, where they allow themselves to be set up to be dismissed in the manners that they were. Right. So what I do acknowledge is that the T20 temperament, it makes the 50 overs innings considerably longer. So these fellas figure by the time you settle in for 3 ball, 6 ball, that you have settled. Right. And with 50 overs, it might not happen that quickly. You know, so but I'm encouraged.
But it's also, for me, it's also a game of ratios, right? So similar to the fact that a power play in the 50 over game, the mandatory power play is 10 overs, but in the 20 over game, it's 6.
Right.
Which means that for every 2.33 overs, there's 1 over. So if you're playing T20, 2.33, 1 over is 2.33 in a 1 day. Right. So break it down. So 1 ball that you might take to settle is really 2.33 balls. Take her over, play yourself in, feel how the ball coming onto the bat, watch the ball coming onto the bat.
Because you have enough time to make up the runs.
Exactly. They ideally said when West Indies hosted the Cricket World Cup, I think it was in 2005, that if you are batting on an ODI innings, you could average a strike rate of at least 60 for the first 100 balls. But you should end your innings with a strike rate of at least 100.
Right. But now, based on the way that cricket has evolved, right? If you end on 100 strike rate, that is atrocious. Kudos to, when given opportunity, the quick singles and the singles that became double.
Yeah, boy. Rotation or strike.
Impressive stuff.
You know what? Also, kudos to the coaching staff. Kudos to Darren Sammy and his team.
Yeah.
Because we know West Indies was over-reliant on boundaries for quite some time. But again, the team put in the work, they put in the fitness work. As Ricardo alluded to when India was here, Shimron Hetmeyer is looking good again. He's looking fit.
Shimron Fitmeyer.
I did not want to go that detailed. But well done also. Sherfane Rutherford. Watch now. First time bowling in a one-day international in this last match here. Coming up good for us. I saw a lot of performances which I felt so proud.
There was no question as to fitness being an issue in this series, which for me was it was lovely to see, right? And not only that too, these guys are starting with the intention of running 2 and then holding off on the second one, as opposed to running 1 and then looking to see if there was a second available.
And this is something that I constantly say the Australians have perfected. When you sprint that first run, you're not putting the pressure on yourself, you know. You're putting the pressure on the fielding team.
Yep.
And that's when misfields could happen.
Yes, sir.
However, as I mentioned, misfields, we still need a lot of work when it comes to the catching.
Soft hands.
Soft hands. Juggins.
You know, and a little WD-40 for the elbow. You know? Bring it up. Come down with it. You know? Is it
a dance with that?
Yeah, we'll ask Adrian Palmer.
No. Yeah, something.
You know, our resident Jamaican.
But also, you know what I saw in this West Indies series here? Players playing for the badge.
Yeah.
They played for that badge on their chest. Well, on the... Yeah. Right? They played for that badge, and that is what we ask. Similar to what Ricardo would ask of any Barcelona player. Similar to what I would ask of any Manchester United player.
Right now,
you play,
we went down. We went down 4-2.
We went down 3-0, right? And I surely, Anyway, But really and truly, that is all we ask, and not just of anybody playing for West Indies. Whatever sport team you play for, be it Trinidad and Tobago football, be it the presentation or handball, or the presentation college football team that graciously lifted the Intercol title last week, along with Pleasantville Senior. Right?
Congratulations.
The 2 titles come to South.
I should have wear my prayers hat, Anyway.
I'd have got prayers jersey, anyhow. But really and truly, once you represent a team, if even as a Mats Olympiad team,
which I have represented before,
which I have done as well, just by now.
All again tie up, The Mats does Mats,
Well, if in my reaches just come from nowhere.
I just stay in.
Right? But really and truly, whatever sport team or team that you represent, all we ask of you is that you represent the institution that you are playing for, the region that you are playing for, or the nation that you are playing for. We ask that you represent it with pride, because so many would have tried to get to where you are, but you are the chosen one or the chosen 11 that have made it this far. And as in the words of an elite politician, we have come too far to turn back now.
Yeah.
Let us rep your colors with pride.
As you say that, my mind shifted very, very, very gently to the idea of, well, why don't rep your community and your family and your last name with some pride too? Take a little personal pride in what people had to go through for you to be here today, And on that actually led me to think of my brother Raskamanda. Extend my condolences and greetings from us to you with love. And I pray peace over your family over the passing of your mom. I know you're a true champion, and you've conducted yourself with grace and an accord that makes me proud. I see you was back in the garden, and something about just seeing Ras in action is encouragement. So I want to just take the moment to acknowledge and say, God bless King.
Right, and as we always say when it comes to this time of the year, for those persons who may be celebrating their first Christmas without a parent, without a sibling, without a husband or wife, without their friend or family member,
or a child.
Wow.
Yeah, man. We had a couple wild incidents this year.
Yeah. All right. We ask that you check in with those people. Let them know that they are loved. Let them know that you care. And as we have learned and we continue to emphasize here in the living room, is that ask persons, how are you? Not from a place of marking, but you're asking from here to let people know that you care.
Was that from your eraser?
No, from your heart, sorry.
Oh, okay. That's not your eraser, though?
Yes, it is.
All right, nice one. Wait, so even if
I trying to erase the negativity from the world.
Right. So where the point is? Anyway, they must stay out of big people business. But and you're right.
That's where the point is. What is going on here?
Man, I know this is a difficult season for plenty of people, and even for those of us who've been navigating grief and difficulty, if you find yourself in moments where you're laughing or you find some brief joy, you don't have to feel guilty about it either, because that's the next thing. We punish ourselves because we feel as if, well, we shouldn't smile, we shouldn't laugh because of what we're dealing with or what we're going through, right? Be a little gracious with yourself.
I'm not going to say that. Inside the living room, we focus a lot on mental health and and self-care and other associated topics, right? But one of the main things that I think we want to start to end off this year with is focusing on that relationship that you have with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And Ricardo just alluded to something there, and I think this is an opportune moment for me to remind not just you all the listeners, but to remind myself, that you have to be gentle with yourself. I always say I am my biggest critic. I hold myself to extremely high standards.
And I am second.
I was actually going to say my mother was second, but okay.
Oh, well, I don't tell you half of the things. Anyway, go on.
Oh,
this is me actively listening. Sorry, sir.
Right. Thank you for that. Right. I hold myself to real high standards. So the simplest mistake for me, I come down on myself. But what I have learned over this year is you have to be gentle with yourself. To err is to be human. Right? Nobody's a robot. Even the robots make mistakes because somebody had to program them.
Facts. And if you see what some of the human figures that AI tried to create over the past year, you'll know robots make mistakes too.
Robots make mistakes. So just how robots make mistakes, Ricardo does make mistakes, I does make mistakes. But you know what separates us from robots, beside the opposable term, is the ability to forgive. And in not just forgiving others, you have to be able to forgive yourself.
Correct is right.
So if you drop the ball at some point this year, you look at yourself in the mirror and say, insert name here, it's okay. Right? But you actually have to insert your name there, not just say insert name here.
Yeah, like you see my last TikTok, boy.
As follow you know.
I actually posted on forgiveness last night or this morning.
That actually preempted. I'm not going to lie, Ricardo. Two things you posted over the past week really spoke to me.
Yeah, and I'll start back.
The one about just start, and the one about forgiveness.
Yeah. And for those of you who are not on the TikTok, which Aaron keeps alluding to as being my favorite app, the forgiveness is like bathing. You should really do it for yourself, but it'll benefit the people around you too. And similar to bathing, when you don't do it, is the people around you more likely to notice first, because it's not just body odor, right? Forgiveness is a thing. It prevents resentment. It cleanses your attitude and your demeanor, because it's normally somebody else will have to point out to you that you're sour, right? I just say it. Do it for yourself, but do it for us too now. Just throwing it out there. But that's my words of wisdom. You know who have a couple words of wisdom for us tonight too? Our favorite segment contributor, except for the other two favorite segment contributors we have. I ain't looking for the action this evening, but with quite a word this evening. Aaron, would you like to introduce?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, feathers and masqueraders, we welcome you to our favorite segment here inside the living room. It's called WTF, What the France.
Fit AF. I saw a video the other day that really rustled my jimmies a little bit. Do people still say that? Rustled my jimmies? Anyway, the video in question was posted by a registered dietitian who I shall leave nameless, wherein she made some truly asinine assertions. The first being that you could increase muscle mass by diet alone, and the second being the mere possibility of injury during resistance training makes it the least viable option for fat loss. Don't be daft. First of all, I don't have time to go into teaching statistical analysis But I can say with absolute certainty that to increase muscle mass, that means to increase the size and number of muscle fibers, you have to stimulate the muscle fibers. And you cannot do that by eating. You can only do that by offering resistance to them. Hence resistance training. Secondly, resistance training is useful to prevent injuries. Of course, you can injure yourself lifting weights or doing any manner of exercises, but you could injure yourself getting out of bed too. Resistance training not only increases the size of muscle fibers, it increases tendon strength, bone density, resilience to infection and viruses. So, to those of you who are not experts in strength and conditioning, kindly confine your batting all the way inside of your crease. And to anybody else that has general fitness questions or even very specific fitness questions, leave a comment, message myself or Ricardo or DJ Aaron, and let's spread some proper information. Because honestly, what the France?
Well, a long time I ain't see Franz with that much intent on delivery. I don't want to guess which emotion he expressed that from. But you know what, you're right, brother. Sometimes people have to bat in the crease. Right? And sometimes you should leave things to the professionals. Somebody gave me the title of being a journalist and asked me what I was representing, and I was like, listen, I did not do the reading to even call myself a journalist, right? I am a communications advocate, right? I encourage conversation, I encourage dialogue, I encourage understanding, I nurture as best as possible the ability for people to exchange ideas. I'm not a journalist. I love the fact that people believe that I should ascribe to journalistic principles. You know, it suggests that I've conducted myself in such a manner that it is now expected of me. Right? But as according to Franz, it have things you leave to the professionals. Leave it to the professionals.
But really and truly, guys, this information age that we live in has brought us to a point where we start to believe that anybody who is spewing any kind of knowledge on any platform is a SME,
right?
Not a small and medium enterprise, but a subject matter expert.
A lot of them aiming for that small and medium enterprise. Just saying,
right? Really and truly, guys, it takes years of experience for you to be qualified in most areas. And just as we say, if you have an ache, you just go by a doctor.
Right.
If you hear knocking in your car, where does go, Ricardo?
By the mechanic.
If your teeth hurting you, where does go?
By the dentist.
If you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed with life, where do you go?
By the you should try to see a mental health professional.
And if you're in search of culture 24/7, 365, where does go?
DJ Aaron 868 page. Oh,
no, I was gone.
You mean that I was supposed to plug the station?
Yeah,
What? 90.1 FM. Where we are?
Culture crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, DJ Aaron 868. On Saturday, I had the privilege of working alongside Joshua Regello at Methanex's children's Christmas party.
Big up the Methanex.
Right. And when I got there, I walked into Chuck E. Cheese. First time in my life on Chuck E. Cheese. And just to debunk this myth, you can't attend Chuck E. Cheese without a child as an adult.
You can.
So go and play the games. Yeah, you could go and just play games.
All right.
I feel, Ricardo, we do our games day where we could trash out some of this animosity we be having and things like that. Let me beat you at some air hockey.
All right, all for it. I have games like jerseys from when you used to do your events and thing back in the day, Don't get tired. Remember when you used to do things for charity, Aaron?
Yes, I still do, actually.
Yeah.
Just more benevolent now, actually.
Serious?
Yeah.
Well, my name on that list?
Anyway, when I walked into Chuck E. Cheese on Saturday, a gentleman would have greeted me, right? He's like, you're Aaron? I say, yeah. He's like, boy, I was really listening to your SoundCloud and singing. I said, serious? He said, yeah, boy, your mixes, this actually remind me that it have a lot more to culture and a lot more to us as a people and a lot more to music than just where it is here on the radio.
Right. Yeah.
To that gentleman, Ray, thank you very much for that message. Because here now, I'm not lying to you. Without YouTube, without WAC being on YouTube, I wouldn't know half the people that is listening. Like Clive, Ingrid, Francis, Patricia, Dr. Cheese, Maruga, Beep Beep Beep. I can't say the rest of that name. Right? And if you're just relying on the phone calls, you wouldn't know who is listening to WAC because some people just don't want to call.
Right.
At the same time, big up Savvy, Miss Kwan Chan, Russell, Auntie V, the entire WAC fan club, the loyal people who just call every time you're on air. Right? But with YouTube, you just get to see names. But on the radio, you don't know who listening. So you never know who you're impacting. So here now, to all the radio presenters on WAC, who we don't know who is be playing music for sometimes. Fellas and ladies, well, lady, the people that we be playing for are real people. And to some of them, we are the best friends.
Yeah.
So we had to understand the level of responsibility, just like how somebody asked Cardo if he's a journalist. We are entertainers that bring life to some people's lives. Guys, embrace this, because there are somebody out there listening to you and smiling. Hey, look young boy on again. Hey.
Look at us.
I like how look at us. Oh, I like how he just play music, Yeah, but I appreciate that gospel you just start off your shift with.
I want to jump in on that. I want to jump in on that and remind people that sometimes your voice is the only one that I could bank on hearing every day, because sometimes I know what started happening to me when I end up behind the panel behind the board one or two times, and when you put on your headphones and your mic and now you presenting to the people out there. But sometimes, not having been in the station for so long personally, right, and still making the contribution that I can, I could tell you, when you tune in for a shift or a show and you ain't here, the first thing that'll start happening to you is just ask, hey, I wonder what happened. I hope they're alright, When somebody do show up for a shift, sometimes it's not just a simple shift. It's not the shift change you just think of first. The people think about us as people. And I think you're right. We have a responsibility to deal with our listeners as people. You might not always agree with them. You might not always like what I have to tell you. But the fact of the matter is they're giving you of their time and their attention. So we have a responsibility to love up with people too now.
Yeah. And not just that, that was on Saturday at Metanexus event. Sunday, I went to my first ever drift show.
Right.
First ever. It was called Big Smoke. Sorry, The Big Smoke. It was at Vemcott Compound in Barataria. Well, yeah, Barataria on the bus route. Also, the first time in my life I ever drive on the bus route. Anyhow, in my car. Yeah. Right? I was sitting in the stands and a gentleman pointed me out to gift me 2 tickets to to Dino World, right? And he said he pointed me out because he make out my face because he all of a sudden Joshua make him like pan.
Right.
He never liked pan before, but Joshua make him appreciate the pan. And that's how he pick out my face because he see me with Joshua.
Right.
So I went 2 tickets with some car man make out my face.
That ain't bad at all.
I glad for that. I'll give them to my goddaughters. But because I have no children of my own.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is
Yet.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, guys, people just be watching you. You wouldn't know. And as I say, sometimes you had to pay it forward. So a man make me out and give me something. Sometimes you had to continue the gifting. You know, it have this trend on social media. Now you're going through the drive-thru and you're paying for the person meal behind you.
Right.
Keep paying it forward, guys. Right?
Yeah.
If it's something as simple as a pastel that you could drop by 129C Coffee Street and put Ricardo or my name on it.
I want to say something simple, you know.
That's just saying.
Pastel is real bougie thing now, you know.
Really?
Well, you're on when I say that doesn't pastel. Yeah, then again too, you have connections to the catering community, you know, so you understand what it's like for the rest of us. Anyway.
Anyway, let me don't go down there.
Leave that where it is.
Yeah. But really and truly, guys, pay for this Christmas season and going forward into 2024. Pay it forward to somebody. Do a kind gesture to somebody. Be it if even you want to make it known to the public. That's a grand gesture. You know what? Ricardo, I'm going to give you 2 slices of black cake.
Taking it.
Right? Or if you want to just quietly pass and drop something for somebody because you realize here what's going on. I'm watching the child down the road walking every day to go to school. But I realize the shoes a little bust up. And if you could afford to buy shoes for the child to make sure that they continue to go to school, you might just drop it on the doorstep or wherever the case is, or give the parent it to give the child or whatever it might be. Help somebody out.
Charity, and it's not even charity, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's just supposed to be a part of the community. Right? A little bit goes a long way. I will share something with you, Aaron, that helped me start navigating something I was having a challenge with. If 100 people ask me for $1 each, and I have it, I will give each one of them that $1. But if the same person asks me for $1 100 times, I coasting. Because I feel it had a right for me to have to be giving you this thing over and over and all the time. So now I start associating my act with a relationship and thus with an expectation. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. So what I had to start doing now was treating each incident of kindness on its own individual merit. A man pointed out something to me though. He said, you know, if you have to give this person 100 times, you're not helping them.
You're enabling.
Right. So it's just a reminder too that everything has a context and everything might be applicable under the right circumstances. So when you're dealing with people, the whole idea of I right and you wrong, it don't have to be like that. Right? If at the end of the day, there was an absolute right and an absolute wrong in any given situation, well then, it wouldn't have alternatives. It would be a survival of the fittest thing. What would have worked the best would have be the only thing that worked. I go in a little cerebral here, a little philosophical here, but I want us to go into the new year, or the new week as the case may be, or the new season, because God alone knows life don't wait for date. But approach things with looking for the opportunity to learn something. Right? You might be right a lot of the time, but you might be wrong about something, and you reduce the opportunity to be righter. if you're so stuck in your position that you can't learn something from somebody else. Right? Yeah.
As I always say, the day you stop learning is the day that you begin to die.
Correct is right.
Learn something new each and every day.
And sometimes it comes from listening to somebody long enough to let them get to the point.
And you know where this also come from, Ricardo? Being self-aware, honest and vulnerable enough to say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know how else you could say that one.
I'm taking that personally. Because I don't like not knowing.
I know that.
Right? But you know what others do? Just try to find out. Anyway.
Right.
Hey, two things on the political space. As we'd mentioned, journalistic integrity and thing earlier. MP Charles of Naparima constituency issued a statement saying that he is not contesting his seat for the next election. At his age, right, he believes it's time to step down and leave room for a younger crop. Now, I know it would have catch your attention and get this response from me because it's the idea of, handing over the reins of succession. Papers jump out the next morning and say the man step down. Instead, not just, all right, he will not be he's not contesting in the future in 2024, 2025, whenever the election is called. And they say that he stepped down from politics.
Still
in office, still in service,
So just now, wait. Are you saying, Ricardo Mitchell, that the Guardian failed to express the news that they learned?
Oh, I didn't say it was the Guardian, sir.
No, I just noticed what I did there. The Guardian failed to express the news that they learned.
Not bad. That is actually well done. The news they learn. Yeah. The Guardian failed to express the news they learn. All right, sir.
I got that from one of my favorite calypsos called "I Am" by Irfan Alves.
Well done, so well done. You catch me.
And that, for me, well, first of all, kudos to MP Charles, for saying it there, that at some point, we have to accept that you are getting older. And you can't lead the people to a future that you're going to be in a rocking chair for. Right? That's one. But the major point for me there, to the news houses in Trinidad and Tobago, I understand that news is a business and you want people to buy your papers or watch your news. So you want to use the headlines which will grasp the attention of the populace. But you see the big letters, the big headlines, the one that is in front 108, make it 100. And then in the small font about 10 or 15 or 18 on that, put because of XYZ.
A little context.
A little context, please. Yeah. Context is just as important as selling papers.
So, having pointed out that, I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge the passing of former politician,
a member of parliament and former minister.
Yeah. Marlene MacDonald, thank you for your service to country and community, and for being she's not just a name. She's a legend.
She's the definition of a public figure when it comes to politics here in Trinidad and Tobago.
You knew exactly where she stood and what she felt about our issue.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
I like how you put that in there, Ricardo, and I really actually forgot that happened. But the latter of the news, I actually thought that you were coming to say in the second part that you were announcing your candidacy or something of the sort.
Sir. I think I don't care enough what people think about me to get into politics.
remember you always say that you are called to a life of service. Maybe the life of service you're called to is a life to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
I think you start a conversation that we will clearly have to continue off air. the language that I would be tempted to utilize. Anyway, but I appreciate your confidence in me.
No, I honestly, Ricardo, if I see you go up for a constituency that I am, or Burgess that I am qualified to vote in, I would vote for you.
I appreciate that, Aaron. I appreciate that. I'll let you know that I have zero political ambitions. But from what I hear, that's actually one of the best indicators that I'd be good at it. Because I don't want it. I'm not going in for what it is other people go in for.
I'm not going to say that, huh?
And in that case, I presume that they're going to lick me up bad and fast. So,
boy, stay out of the big people party.
Let me mind the business. If the good Lord decides that is where He wants to put and send me, I will go. I will be as obedient as is required. But I'll tell you that I'm not looking for it.
Nah. Honestly, politics has a morality of its own, which is non-existent, and
wouldn't go so far either. Which is non-existent, and it have a lot of people catching a royal because they're trying to do things a kind of way.
Right, but really and truly, guys, politics is a calling, and if you are called and you duly answer, please go in with the intention to serve the people and not thyself.
You know what I should have known I should have considered you was just joking, because I had no way I would have made such an announcement without having had myriad conversations with you beforehand.
With me?
Yeah.
What you want to do? Record your
my jingle?
Your jingle.
Oh gosh, nah.
Ricardo Mitchell. He's our guy, Ricardo Mitchell. He's kind of shy. I don't know what I was going to say.
That would not be it though.
Yeah, that. But anyway, really and truly, guys, the Christmas season is here. As you can see, my Christmas tree is over my left shoulder. All right, and Ricardo is wearing his hat advertising to Santa Claus that he has been nice for 2023. Right, but as we said earlier, to the persons who would have lost somebody, we ask you to be gentle with them. We ask you to be gentle with yourself, because let's face it, the other thing we have to accept is the economy ain't easy. Right? Don't put pressure on yourself to buy things like these and wrap things for people and put yourself in unnecessary debt to make other people happy. If you can't afford the gifts for people, your presence is a present. I know everybody to say that and make jokes out of it, but really and truly, given everything that has taken place over the past few years in Trinidad and Tobago and around the world, from a pandemic to a crime endemic here, your presence is a present. Spend time with the people that you love and make memories, because the same thing that you're going to buy for them, somebody could thief it. Or it could break and not work again. But you know what people are going to remember in 10 to 15 years? The memories that you make with them.
Yeah.
10 to 15 years down the road, I could go back on YouTube and watch our old episode of Living Room and be like, boy, me and Ricardo used to really talk stupidness on the people radio, you know.
Surprised that Kenny let me get away with it for this long.
Please don't say that he named too much, huh? Anyway.
Wait, they call it 3 times he does show up?
Yeah, boy. Alright? But really and truly, guys, make memories with the people that you love for 2023 Christmas and for 2024 and beyond. Make memories with them. Ricardo and I will be making a memory next week, Thursday. God's willing.
So we going?
you asking answers?
Yes.
We can't go Tuesday because we going to the station.
Yeah.
So we could go Thursday.
Well, let's see the level of sacrifice we're willing to make.
Missing West Indies for all, yeah?
Because we try to make them memories around.
Yeah, we're making memories with you, the listeners, each and every Tuesday once we're on air, and every Friday once I'm on air as well. And I would also take this opportunity because we're getting perilously close to the hour of 7 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I'll take this opportunity as we're closing off. I'd like to apologize to the listeners of WAC 90.1 FM for the numerous Fridays that I would have missed over the past year. Right? Some of them would have been for jobs. Some of them would have been because I wasn't in the country. And by that I mean Tobago.
Right.
And some of them would have been for work-related issues and matters. Because I do have a job outside of work. I have for those there. Right? So guys, I apologize for missing some Fridays because I know for some people, they look forward to hearing me on a Friday. I will try to do better for 2024 after Carnival. I've seen it up front. There will be Fridays for Carnival that I will not be there.
Well, I mean, Aaron, you can't be a cultural ambassador and not expect to be called to ambassadorial duties. At the end of the day, you're doing your part to maintain something on the airwaves, and part of that going to be people requesting you to bring it into other spaces that it wouldn't be if you wasn't there.
And also, well, for those of you that don't know, WAC will be covering the majority of Trinbago, NCC, Tuco, and even some of the Calypso tents over the entirety of the 5-week Carnival season this year.
Not the 5-week season, yes. 5 weeks unsold.
5 weeks unsold.
5 weeks
Right.
unsold.
So guys, look out for us at an event near you. If you see Kenny, Ras, Kerry, or any of the crew or I, don't be afraid to say hi.
And
Take pictures with us.
Yeah, buy them a bottle of water or other beverage.
Or Lucasade or something of the sort. Kenny apparently like caramel.
Serious?
Yeah, world waiter.
It's just the little things that you wouldn't think about somebody,
I actually realized that when we worked the launch of Carnival in the Savannah.
The way this girl and I would have imagined he liked Tulum more than anything else. I'm joking.
Right, guys. That's it. We are making our way out of the studio of WAC 90.1 FM right now, and we are making way for Mr. Desmond with the big band. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blast. I'm sorry it couldn't last. Catch me on Friday inside the Friday night fete. I think we at 100% Parang now, so
all right.
yeah, fete into Parang on Friday. 2 more Fridays till Christmas. 3 more Fridays for the year.
I want to thank you all for spending this much time with us, for giving us a chance to, show up, to provide positive content in a bacchanal environment.
Correct, is right.
Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that I could confidently say I've had hundreds of hours of interview and on-air time because you're all willing to keep listening. I thank you for that. Right, God bless all the new year. In case there are people that will get a little busy and might be able to catch the show.
But if they can't catch it live, remember, you could go on YouTube and search for the Living Room 868 and the playlist will come up and it could take in any one of the shows after.
But for now, this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage and the global stage. Thanking you for joining us in the living room. Remember guys, the hourglass is opaque. You don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Aaron?
Yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code, and I tell you all that love is the currency, so spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys. All right? Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band. Remember, keep it locked to WAC 90.1 FM. You know why? We don't need to switch to play soca.
See what you did there, sir. The Tulum boss go like that.